Today we got a great video for you. We are going to take you step by step on the process of installing the RailEasy cable rail system from Atlantis Rail.
Now, this is a great project for a DIYer. It's simple, it's durable, it's got a great clean modern look, and we're going to walk you through every step of the way, from measuring and marking to running your cable to the final adjustments.
And with that, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the tools we're going to need to complete the job.
First up, you'll need the RailEasy drilling template. 5/16, 7/16, and 3/8 wrenches, an 1/8 inch and 7/32 drill bit, the number 2 square head driver bit, and a set of cable cutters to avoid frayed ends.
For our project, we're using the RailEasy tensioners and the swivel ends to get the proper alignment and tension. We'll show you exactly how these things work as we move through our installation.
Now for our project here, we have just 2 cable runs. One that's 24.5 feet long, and the other is just over 3 feet long. And our railing is 43 inches tall, and that means we're gonna need 12 cable runs, spaced evenly 3 inches apart.
Since our midposts are about 6.5 feet apart, we had to pre-install these stabilizers to meet code, which requires them every 4 feet. Now, whether you're building new or an existing project, you need to make sure your posts and top rail are done securely. They need to be able to withstand the pull from the tension of your cable railing.
All right, with our posts and stabilizers in place, we can begin marking our posts where the hardware will go. In our instance, we are going to measure down 2 inches for the first cable run. Our 4x4 is actually 3¼ inches wide. That means our center mark is going to be 1 5/8. So we'll go ahead and mark down 2 inches and then mark over to 1 5/8. You can go ahead and line that up with our X and make your marks. Now, you might find it handy to have a quick grip on hand because that will allow you to line up that template and just clamp it into place. And that's gonna save you a lot of time and hassle along the way. For the mid post, we're gonna repeat the same process. However, instead of using these small holes to make our marking, we're gonna use this large center hole, and that's where we're gonna use a 7/32 inch drill bit to drill straight through that mid post and allow our cable to pass right through. Good. So, Jay, for runs over 25 feet, you're gonna need 2 sets of tensioners, 1 on each end, right?
That's right, Jeff. But see, for our project, we're just under 25 at 24.5. So we're only gonna need 1 set of tensioners and 1 set of the swivel ends. So with that said, let's go ahead and drill these holes and start putting in our hardware.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Now that we've got our holes pre-drilled, we're gonna go ahead and start installing our swivel ends. We've chosen this side of our deck to install these on. Now, quick note, they do suggest that you start at the bottom because you can see these things do swivel and you don't want these hanging in your way as you're installing them. All right, so now I've got the first one installed. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this post, make sure I get all of my swivel ends installed. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and send it down to Jeff where he's installing the tensioners.
Now, the tensioners are going to be just like the swivel ends in the fact that they secure the cable to the system. The difference here is that the tensioners have this threaded section, and the threaded section is going to be what you tighten up in order to tension each run of the cables. So I'm going to do just like Jay did and get started at the bottom and work my way up.
All right, so I've just finished installing all my swivel ends. Jeff is just finishing up his tensioners, but there's something I want to mention. Before we run our cable, we had to install our cable sleeves. These are going to protect the cable itself and the post from wear. Something I want to note is that they are a tight fit, so you are going to need a hammer to drive those in and make sure they're in there nice and snug. So now that you know, you know.
All right, the hardware is installed. Now for the fun stuff, we get to install the cable. One of the nice things about the Atlantis Rail RailEasy system is that you can buy the cable in bulk. And that is going to cut down on a lot of waste because we can trim this to the exact length we need. So let's go ahead and get to work. Now the cable should slide right into the cone, and then we can tighten that thing up and secure the cable in place. And you're gonna wanna ensure that the cable is all the way seated at the back of that cone. And then we can take our wrenches. You're gonna wanna bury the threads all the way, and that's gonna ensure that you are tight and secure. All right, the swivel end is secure. We're down here at the tensioner end. We're gonna use the base of the cone as a guide. We're gonna make a mark, and that's where we're gonna cut our cable. Okay, there we go. We're gonna take our 3/8 inch and 7/16 inch combination wrenches and tighten this thing up. And just as the other side, you're gonna wanna bury those threads all the way.
Right now, I am installing the swivel ends on our post for our 3-foot run, which is gonna go right here.
I'm on our 7th run of cable. It's going great. Slowly but surely making our way down here. Just about to install this right into the swivel end. And again, want to make sure this thing is fully seated so that you get a nice bite on that cable. And once it's in there, it's not going anywhere. Just something to take note of. Some of the cable sleeves are pretty challenging to insert the cable into. So one method that you can use is actually to take this thing apart. There are 3 pieces inside. You have the cable sleeve, you have the cone, and then you have this tiny little washer here. So don't lose that. And then from there, you can bring that back, put your washer in there, and thread it right onto the swivel end. And that's just a little bit easier when you have those instances where the cable just doesn't want to go into the back end of the swivel end there. As you're threading the cable through the mid posts here, you want to be careful not to force the ends through, because what can happen is the ends can start fraying. Just be gentle with it. You know, the cable sleeves do have a little ridge on them. So feel your way around, and then once you get it in place, you can push it through, and your end's gonna come through intact. So as we're trying to run our cable through the mid posts here, you can see that we're catching up on the cable sleeve. And they're tapped in there pretty tight. We've run into this once before, and we figured out a solution. With a 3/16 inch drill bit, you can drive this in while the drill's in forward, and it will actually help to extract the cable sleeve. You can then run it through and put the cable sleeve back on after the cable's made it all the way through.
Yeah, it's good.
We're
through.
All right, now we did make mention of this earlier, but you do want to have about a minimum of 3/4 of an inch threads showing. We have gone a little over a 3/4 of an inch now, and that seems to be the kind of the sweet spot for us.
So we have got our cable ran. It is currently just hand tightened. So we're gonna go ahead and show you how to properly tension this.
We'll start here in the center, and we're gonna go below, above, all the way to the bottom and top cables. You're gonna go ahead and take a 3/8 inch wrench. You're gonna grab the nut right by the cone, and then you're gonna take a 5/16 wrench, and you're going to rotate the body of the tensioner. And then you're gonna just periodically kind of test that tension until it's nice and snug. I think that'll do it. All the cables are tensioned. Now the final step is to secure the lock nut. Just gonna need a couple of wrenches here, a 3/8 and a 7/16. You just go ahead and finger thread that lock nut down, put your 3/8 inch wrench on there, and just give it a little twist. And that's gonna lock it in place. So I'll go ahead and finish the rest of these, and then we'll go and check out what Jay's doing down here. All right, Jay, how's it going over here?
It's going really good. I just finished up tightening my final lock nut here, but it does bring me to my next point is over the next month or two, me and you are gonna have to come out here, make sure that these things are nice and tight because they're gonna settle. So we'll have to do some retensioning here and there, but yeah.
We do want to clean this system periodically, and we're gonna leave a link in our description of this video so that everybody knows just exactly what that looks like. But beyond that, buddy, I think we're just about done.
Yeah, let's put the WB stamp of approval on this one and call it a day.
All right, Jay, well, the project is complete, and I have to say, it looks fantastic. Was there anything that was especially challenging or that kind of caught you off guard as we went through the process?
We had mentioned in our video that you want to keep the thread exposure consistent, in the tensioning process, and that ultimately was more challenging than I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that was really hard for me was drilling the mid posts. That template was great, but when it came to actually leveling the drill and making sure that the drill bit was coming through on the other side of the post, right in the center, it was really hard. But beyond that, every step of this process was pretty straightforward and something that really any DIYer could handle. If you've ever done a project like this, leave your experience in the comments below. Till next time, keep working.
And we'll catch you on the next one.